All right, so I'm going to go over here to the test org. I'm going to cancel out of this. Everything stays the same. Let me stop right here. If you would like to test and see how the feel and the view looks to see if there's anything that I missed. We do have a few HSCs that are testing it, but if you would like to test it as well, just let me know, and I can give you a username and a password to our test org. So I'm going to go ahead and pretend like this is a new screening. I'm going to come to Orange Church of Angels, and I'm going to scroll down. I created a new screening. I'm just going to click on that for time's sake purposes. And now what I want to do is I want to insert a new campaign. Same process as far as getting to the campaign screen. The campaign name, again, we're just copying and pasting that over. The campaign, or the company, you would choose which one. And then the account site name. Remember how we said this was a fundamental difference here? So we started typing in the first few letters, it pops up, Orange Church of Angels. Next question it'll ask is blood offered? And that's a yes or no. Yes, obviously, is the box is checked. No, the box is not checked. Do you want blood announcements? And that would, in my area, be yes. And now let's talk about the confirmation letter. We're going to take a quick peek here in just a second. But on the confirmation, do you want to have the attachments? If you hover over the question mark, remember that always gives you your helpful hints. Do you want to attach the site requirement and the liability insurance sheet to the confirmation letter? So it's either all or nothing. So no attachments whatsoever, or I want these two to be attached. So I'm going to click on yes. For those of you guys who like the site signature confirmation, do you want that generated? So that's a yes or a no, and that's at the very bottom of the confirmation sheet where you want them to sign and date and send it back to them. Start date, again, that's today's date that you're creating the screening. I'm going to go ahead and pretend like today is January the 1st of 2011, just for this example purposes, because I was living in the past here and this screening is taking place on February the 14th. Now my end date and time, that is going to be your screening date. And again, the time, I would like everything to go out, let's say, at 12 o'clock in the afternoon as far as all of the future correspondence that will be sent through email. Typing in the contact name remains the same. The contact nickname remains the same. Numbers of flyers that you have ordered, you have to at least enter in one, and then the date the flyers will arrive. Here's the no marketing checkbox. So if for some reason you have been told, absolutely, we're not doing anything for you, it's a hotel, what have you, you would click this box so nothing would go out. Now the other information here, just ignore that. That won't be on our live org, and then you would click on save. So again, a lot less fields to enter. All right, let's now go into the workspaces. I want to show you something. I'm going to go over to my live org. All of this information will be not only in the Moving Monday folder, but it will also be in the workspaces that is titled Workflow. There we are. So here's my workspace, and there's the folder Workflow. So if you want to find this PowerPoint presentation as well as the other documents we're about to look at, that's where they'll be housed. All right. So let me go ahead and, oh, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to end this show real fast so I can click around and come to the piece to go over. All right, so without further ado, here is the workflow platform. It's no longer 4 or 5 sheets. We made it simple and easy with one sheet. All right, the color codes are as follows. Green area means that you generate it, or I should say is generated off of the created date. So everything else, as we talked about, is the end date with the time trigger on there, except for the certificates and the confirmation letter, which is going off of the created date. Now, the e-flyer and the first set of blurbs, this is going to go out 11 weeks from the screening date. The marketing confirmation and the reminder to put out the flyers is going to go in at 9 weeks. The registration sheet with the short announcements, the video, and the PowerPoint is going out at 7 weeks. The orange indicates if it's something that's optional. So if you chose in there you wanted to have the blood announcements go out, this would go out at 5 weeks. If you said no, then the next thing that goes out is 3 weeks prior to. So you have screening confirmation, 3 weeks, with the second set of blurbs and the sign-up sheet follow-up. And then finally, 1 week prior to the event, we have the screening confirmation. Remember how we said if for some reason there's a site change, so if it ends in .2 or .3, the only thing that's going to be generated as far as email is concerned is anything that's generated from 1 week on. So from here, this item would be generated as well as the thank you and the result letter. So task will be generated for 1 day prior to for the screening confirmation and the ultrasound van, and then after the event takes place, the end of the screening date, actually I think now that's 1 day after the screening, I'll double check on that, and then 4 weeks approximately the result letter will go out. Over here, this just tells you how it's triggered. We already talked about that. The first two are the created date. All the other ones are coming from that end date and time from the screening date. Emails, this will show you what generates an email. This box, if it is chosen, will generate an email. This one right here tells you what generates a task. So we have task, really 1, 2, 3, follow-up task, actually 4, and then that's for the van. The second blurbs and the third blurbs. So the only option here is if you want the blood blurb announcement. Okay, that's it at a high level. Let's go ahead and get down and dirty with this thing. If you're opening up this in Adobe Reader, you should be able to come up here to the top and hover over this icon, and it'll bring you to the bookmark page. So the bookmarks will take you exactly to where you would want to go to see what document is going to be generated. So the workflow chart, that's where we were. The next one, you can either click down or you can click over here. So we're going to the confirmation letter. The confirmation letter still gives you some options. The options are the items that are highlighting green. So let's look here. All right, so if you had in there room rent, it's going to know that you put room rent based off of the box that you checked on if there was room rent, and it will say room rent will be sent to you on this date, before this date and time, and here's the amount. Same thing if you wanted to add a personal paragraph, that's where it would go as well. Another change with the workflow is now we have everything by the campaign creator and owner, where before it used to be the user. So that's really going to help out a lot as well. Now the second page, and that's where the other option is that you checked the checkbox if the campaign return signature you wanted to generate or not, that's that area. So at the end of each one of these items, I came in and made a little footnote. This is the confirmation letter. It's generated the date the campaign is created. It's a one-page document unless you chose the option of having the site return and sign this piece. The green areas are optional along with the attachments. I didn't put the attachment in here. We're all familiar with what the site requirement and the liability insurance is. So the next item would be the e-flyer letter. I did not put the e-flyer in this packet because we're all familiar with it, and I was trying to keep it as simple as possible. But you could click here, and it could bring you to those tabs. So you can review what's being sent out just by clicking on the bookmarks over here. Now, the other area I wanted to point out is the survey and thanks. Thank you for helping us save lives in the communities. Please take a few minutes by clicking on the link to fill in the survey. So you would click this. It's asking me if it's okay to link, and I'm saying yes. So here's how it will look. The survey was the HSC, informative and helpful regarding your service. So if you want to take a look on what they will be viewing, you would click on that button. All right, click too fast there, but I believe this is the overview at a very high level without getting too dirty with it, down and dirty. I'm going to click back, and let's talk about the next steps. So the next steps for this automatic workflow, we're getting everybody a week to talk to their managers and RSMs, to play around with it, to take a look at the templates, and to be able to copy clone anything that they're using before we hide all of the existing templates. So custom field review for the console. If anybody wants to test out the custom field review, let me know. I can give you your own username and password. Take a look at the copy of the templates. We just spoke about that, and review the new templates for any questions that you might have. Remember, the new templates will not only be on Movie Monday, but they'll also be in the Workspaces area in a folder called Workflow. Review the timeline for any type of questions and give your feedback to the RSMs within the next week. So next week we can highlight, go over the questions, roll it out, and then the following week we'll go over campaign numbers. I hope this helps. Until next time, may the force be with you. Salesforce, that is.